This week, from the work and experience of Dr. Nehha Laamba, the stories you live by. Two sides of one self arguing. The question, if a story about you is doing you harm, are you allowed to rewrite it? Or does that make you someone who edits their own past?
Here's where I want to start, and it's going to sound unfashionable. The story is not the problem. Somebody wrote it. Somebody young who didn't have your vocabulary or your options, and who was trying to make one confusing afternoon make sense before dinner. And now there's a whole industry telling that person their work was substandard.
Wait. Nobody's putting a child on trial. But you've done the thing everyone does with this argument. You've made the story sacred because of who wrote it. I can respect the author completely, and still notice that the author is 9 and is still signing things.
Signing what?
Everything. What you apply for, who you think is out of your league, whether you bother. There's a 9-year-old with a pen and nobody has checked his credentials since 1998.
Then let me say what's buried in there, because it isn't nothing. That story kept somebody alive, not metaphorically. It made a chaotic situation legible when nothing else did. I'm the one who holds it together is a survival document. And every single thing you like about yourself grew out of that soil. You want to dig up the soil and keep the plant.
That's fair. And here's the danger in it. The moment you call it sacred, you stop being able to see it at all. It becomes the water. I've watched people defend a story so gently, for so long, that 30 years went past and they never once asked whether it was still describing their actual life.
Okay, I'll give you this one. Gentleness can be a way of not looking. But here's my line, and I want to be precise about it, because I think this is where people get hurt. There's a difference between asking a story a question and replacing it with a better-sounding one. I'm bad at this becomes I'm capable of anything. And that's not liberation. That's just a nicer lie with better marketing. You haven't tested anything. You've redecorated.
I agree with every word of that.
Right.
No, genuinely. I don't want a better story. That's what I keep saying badly. I want a tested one. And usually the tested one is duller than both, less flattering than the affirmation, and less dramatic than the wound.
Duller.
Duller. Specific. Boring enough to be true. I'm bad at this becomes I've done this 11 times and 6 of them went fine. And nobody's going to put that on a poster. And that's precisely why it's never been evaluated. If an employee had that track record, every project starts with, "You'll probably blow this," you'd have put them on a plan years ago.
But it's not an employee. It's a guard dog that's outlived the burglar. You don't shoot it. You teach it the danger's gone.
Or you notice the dog bites guests, and you call that what it is. I'm not saying hate it. I'm saying it works for you. It gets reviewed like anything else that works for you.
I'll give you that much. The tone it uses would end any friendship you have, except the one with yourself.
Here's the failure mode of your position, and I don't think you have an answer for it. Acceptance is indistinguishable from surrender from the inside. Somebody sits with their story compassionately for a decade. They're kind to it. They understand where it came from. And they don't apply, and they don't ask, and they don't go. And every year they feel better about not doing it because they've made peace with who they are. That's not peace. That's a very well-lit cage. And the compassion is the lighting.
That one lands. Then answer this. If the old story is such a cage, why does nobody leave? There's a payoff in it. What does the story get you that you'd miss?
Permission. That's the payoff. I'm not a details person means never having to be trusted with the details. The story doesn't just limit you, it excuses you.
I'd say protection. The chaos you grew up in taught you the floor moves. The story is the handrail. Of course you hold it.
But notice what it's protecting you from now. Not the original chaos. From finding out the chaos is over. That's the secret payoff. You never have to test whether you survived.
Protection and permission. We've just agreed on the mechanism, and we disagree about whether it's kind.
Wait, I think it is kind. Kind and expired. Both.
Somewhere the questioning has to stop, and you have to just live in the house.
I'll go. I use the questioning as a way of not arriving. As long as the story's still under review, I don't have to be anybody yet. That's not rigor. That's a very sophisticated stall.
Mine's smaller and worse. There's a sentence about myself I've never examined, and I know exactly which one it is. And I don't examine it because I'm fairly sure it's true. And if I checked and it wasn't, I'd have to account for what I didn't do. The story is not your enemy.
The story is not your evidence either.
Somebody wrote it who deserves your kindness.
Somebody's still riding with it, who deserves your attention.
You don't owe it a demolition.
You don't owe it obedience.
Hold it gently.
Hold it up.
We're not two people, by the way. We're both you. That's the whole design of this.
So neither of us is going to tell you which one to be this week.
There's a sentence you say about yourself. You know the one. It arrived quickly, and you've never asked it anything.
Tomorrow there's a practice for testing it, if you decide it wants testing.
And if you decide it doesn't, that's also an answer. From being to becoming.
From being to becoming.